Hi everyone, day 2 of the lockdown. What are some of the behaviors that you had to think about yesterday or just became more aware of? Some behaviors that I often have to think about are my behaviors that I show when I'm impatient. So patience is definitely a very big aspect currently in my life that I have to think about. And I think during this time we can spend more time with our family, our friends, even if it's over video conferencing, our children, depending on who is with you at home, and have more patience with them. I think with the rat race that we were all caught up in before the lockdown or before we had to deal with this coronavirus outbreak, we actually now do have the time to listen to our children. So when they do ask you something, leave everything that you're busy with. So that is something that I became aware of yesterday, is to actually stand still for a moment and think about the behaviors that I'm showing throughout the day. Another behavior that I had to think about was how I greet people the moment I wake up. So currently it's only my dog and my husband in our house during this lockdown period. And usually I would get up and start my morning routine without greeting anyone properly, even though I'm a morning person. And that is something that I became aware of and that I would like to change during this time. So when we talk about behavior on a very high level, we can categorize it into two categories. Daniel Kahneman wrote in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, about System 1 and System 2 thinking. So System 1 thinking is your automatic, autopilot thinking, very quick thinking. System 2 thinking is your conscious thinking. So we really need to put in the effort, put in the time. Going back to System 1 thinking, that is also an area where we are prone to make mistakes or to not take the time, put in the effort to think how this behavior impacts myself and those around me. A habit is a behavior that became automized. So just to use an example, if you are working for the same company the past 20 years, you have driven the same route from your house to the business, I'm sure you have experienced stopping in the parking area of the business and asking yourself how you actually got to work and thinking, did I even stop at that traffic light? So that is automized behavior that you have experienced there. Now, if I tell you that there is a better route to take to work, they built a highway the past 5 years that you can now take, but it's a completely different route to work. It will be more effective and it will save petrol. Most probably you would tell me, no, you're very comfortable with your habit, which is taking your route that you've taken for the past 20 years. So if you do decide, like the challenge would be today, to really go think about this route that you're taking and how it can actually impact you better and those around you, you would have to go sit down, look at Google Maps, decide on a new time to leave home, go map out the route, decide when you're going to leave to make sure that you do not sit in traffic on the highway. So you would need to put in a lot more effort to actually take the new route to work. But after a few days, so as I said yesterday, 21 days, 66 days, 100 and something days, you then take that new route, that would become your new System 1 thinking, your new autopilot behavior. What our brain does is it saves energy so that we have the capacity to think about certain issues in a much more complex manner. A very significant finding that research shows us is that we spend up to 90% or sometimes even more in our unconscious behavior. So remember now, that's your System 1 thinking. That is where we're in autopilot, we don't think about what we're doing, we're not aware about our behaviors. So the rest of the 10% of our time, and that can actually be a lot less, some research shows, we spend time on complex thinking. So just a thought, no one consciously chooses to be a bad person or to show bad behaviors or to be a bad leader or a bad team member. Along the way, since we were children up to where we are now, throughout life, different jobs, different scenarios in your life, you have picked up certain behaviors because we learn new behaviors from other people and from what we see. So challenge for today, go write down all the behaviors that you portray currently in a day, whether it's within your team, working virtually, with your family, and decide what are some of the behaviors that you would like to kick, so get rid of them, and what new behaviors would you like to introduce into your daily life. So just a tip there, write it down. The moment we write something down, we are activating certain parts of our brain that would otherwise remain dormant if we do not write it down. And another tip, start small. Martin Lanik writes in his book about micro behaviors. On the 1st of January, if you go to the gym for 4 hours, you would probably break a leg, not enjoy gym at all, and probably never go back. So start small. Start with 10 minutes each day and choose 1 or 2 behaviors. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time. I'll see you again tomorrow.